Reading Hamjambo. Yes, I want to hear the screams because this woman has opened the cans of worms that our grandparents didn't open. The fact that she's released this book, let us talk about it. TV, we are excited to be here for Lucy to tell us about her story. Lucy, who is Lucy Connor? Tell us about Lucy.
Lucy is just Lucy. She is a mother. She is a wife. She is a sister. She is a friend. She's an auntie. She's everything.
Do you know what? I've looked at when you were dancing here.
Yeah.
And a man understands his homework because he did come to dance with you. Give it up again for somebody who understood their homework. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying with that is you have opened a can of worms, and the book you've released, The Journey Within. First and foremost, you have to accept yourself at the place you are in your life. Most of us are still feeling very young, although we've passed the 45 line. We've passed the age of 45. When did you know you've hit that point? When did you feel like, you know what, I think I'm feeling a little bit peri-menopause?
I think it all started when I was about 47, 48. But I wasn't aware of what was going on with me. I was just thinking, sometimes I wouldn't sleep at night, and I would just put it down to maybe working at night and not sleeping well enough and whatever. But as time went on, I think there was a particular day I've written in the book when I went to pick up my younger son from school. And it was a nice spring day, I think. And from nowhere, I felt my body begin to heat up from the feet all the way up. And by the time the teacher went to pick up my son and she came outside, I was literally pouring in sweat. And I was like, what just happened there? Yeah, and I think the teacher was roughly about my age at that time. And she just looked at me and she said, Lucy, welcome to my world. And I was like, what world? What world, yes. You know? Yeah, so that was a beginning of many other things, just feeling a bit out of place. I remember one day when I came from work, had a shower, moisturized myself as normal, but I started itching from head to toe, like seriously, for about 40 minutes, just itching from nowhere. And I was thinking, what is really happening to me? So at that point, I'm so blessed to have my mom who I spoke to at that time, and she brought me some herbs. And before she brought the herbs, I'd taken an antihistamine because my boys get hay fever. So I was like, oh, let me try this. And it worked. But then Mom brought me some herbal stuff which I took, and the itching sort of went away. So from then, the night sweats started to kick in. All of a sudden, you get just so warm, so disoriented sometimes, to the point and to
so
a point.
At this point, did you know what was going on with you, or you're just confused?
No, I didn't. And I remember when my mom came to see me, I sort of said, I'm getting temperature at night. I was even telling my husband that I'm very hot at night. Why am I getting a temperature? I'm not a child. And because I just didn't know what it was. So from there on, Mom very kindly explained to me that you're going through the change. And I was like, what change?
Yes.
What change?
Yes.
So she's like, oh, honey, you know, when you get to a certain age, things begin to change here and there and whatever. I was like, but I'm not even 50. Why? Why should I be going through this? She said, no, there isn't a time scale. So from there on, that's when I began doing my research and trying to understand what was really going on with me. So.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, that was a journey. And a lot of us, give it up to her again. A lot of us, we don't have that mom to go to because our moms are not around. And a lot of us don't know how to get started with the effects we are feeling. And I know for myself, I went to church one day, and just before I get in, I started sweating. And that was the day that I hadn't even put the makeup very well. So that day, it's going to start coming down. And I did not understand what was going on. So yes, this is a place in life we don't talk about. But Lucy, you have done a big research on, perimenopause. I've looked into your book, and you have had a lot of testimonies of different women talking about their feelings. What has captured your mind about what these women are talking about? What's common about them? Is there anything different about women globally going through menopause?
I think every woman is going to be different to some extent in terms of the symptoms. There is common symptoms which everybody tends to get, but others get some, others don't. So, and I think you sort of mimic your mom. If you can pinpoint when your mom started going through the perimenopausal symptoms and whatever, you sort of just mimic what your mom went through. But most of us, obviously, our moms never said anything. They just humbly went through it, and we never really got to know what was going on. So, yeah.
How comes a lot of us, especially Africans, don't like talking about these things?
I think, for me, I think it's a taboo. We tend to be, as African women, we never talk about our problems, yeah? And denial, hugely denial. Because even for me, I battled with myself. I was seriously sitting alone and trying to put Lucy there in my head here and my heart there, and I'm thinking, what are you trying to tell me? I'm not ready to be old, you know? Yeah, wow. But So I had that internal conflict within me.
Wow. And looking at the book now, The Journey Within, tell us about your journey of writing this book.
Okay. I was mainly inspired by once I knew what I was going through, I never shied away. I always walked with my lovely fan. So everywhere I went, when a flash comes on, I would just put my fan on and whatever. Once I accepted, I was happy to deal with the symptoms. And I was really blessed. I'm very blessed to have I call her my Jamaican mom. My mom is late, but she's my mom. She's been very, very helpful in my life and whatever. So she sort of guided me through most of the steps. But as I read and read and read, I just thought, this topic is not really discussed openly. Yeah, even not just in our culture. Even for example, you might go to the GP presenting with certain symptoms. They'll be quick to prescribe. For example, something like depression, because sometimes some women have lows and highs and whatever. It's very easy for you to be put on medication because I don't think the GPs are trained enough to understand. I think it should be a case of if a woman comes to me as a doctor, I will be looking, how old are you first? Could this be because of
Peri-menopause?
Yeah, peri-menopause and things like that. So, yeah.
And you see, a lot of us have got husbands and partners. Where do they come in when a woman is going through peri-menopause? Is it easier for you now to be able to talk about those things? Does it affect relationships when you're going through peri-menopause?
It can. it can affect the relationship hugely. I think after really sitting with myself and coming into terms that things had changed, I had to sit my family down. I had to sit the boys down and explain that, because sometimes you just, from nowhere, you just feel really overwhelmed, and you're thinking, I'm the sort of person who likes to listen and really listen, not to listen and answer. I want to understand what you're trying to achieve from me, what you're asking and whatever. So I think with the, it was very important for me to sit everybody down and explain to them, when I say I'm not ready to speak right now, I'm not rejecting you. I'm not saying I will not speak. Give me a chance to cool down and find my footing, and then we can have a discussion rather than, because sometimes you can end up being very snappy just like that. And I think for me, I'm a bubbly person. I don't like to offend anybody. And for me to start snapping at someone, especially, for example, the boys, I was like, no, this is not me. So instead of, when I'm not ready to speak, I will say to them, when I'm ready to speak, I will call you and we can have a discussion rather than just dismissing them.
Fantastic. Oh, wow. And a lot of us can agree with that when you have started going through the perimenopause, you start feeling things you never felt before, and you don't understand it yourself. I have looked for my phone the other day. I'm looking for my phone everywhere. I've just got it in my hands. Brain fog.
Oh, yeah. You can say that again. You can say that again.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Journey Within. Talk us through the book. There's people here who would like to read the book, prescribe the book to some friends, because that's what we'd like to do. We've seen some of the friends going through the perimenopause. What do they expect to find in the Journey Within?
Obviously, I've shared a lot of my personal experience. I've shared testimonials from other women who I got to speak to and things like that. I've shared my coping mechanisms tailored around me. I've shared other things other women have used to help them when they feel a certain way. And I've also shared some I've gone all herbal. I take my herbals every single day. And I usually say, like, with herbals, you take it as your medication. If the doctor gives you medication, you take it every day, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's the same with the herbals. You don't take it today and not take it tomorrow because you're feeling better. So I've tried to be very consistent with my herbals, which my mom gets from me all the time, you know. And I've also touched on HRT. Yeah, I've touched quite a bit on HRT, because other women will choose to go on that hormone replacement therapy. So, yeah, that's all there, and yeah.
And there's a lot of scientific evidence. I've looked at the book and I've seen a lot of scientific evidence. But women says, like, people say women are hormonal. Like, every time, these women are so hormonal. They'll go on and off very quickly. But what happens to the hormones of a woman who's going through the perimenopause, scientifically?
During this period of time, two major hormones, the estrogen and progesterone, they as sometimes I say, they dance, or they just go, they go up and down, or they just disappear, reappear, that kind of thing. So when both of them are decreasing on a daily basis, obviously the body is not going to be whatever, but there is things you can take which greatly help.
Wow. And self-care. For most women going through perimenopause, they need to know about self-care. Self-love and self-care. You've touched a lot about that. Personally, is it something you're practicing at the moment? Self-care, and what self-care tactics are you using? Apart from you taking herbs, of course, you're letting your family know, keep away from me. But are there other things that you think people should do to self-care through this phase?
Just really trying to listen to your body, listen to yourself every day. I find walking by the river quite therapeutic. As I was writing this book, a lot of the times when my information was flowing was when I was sitting by the river. There is I think a lot of people from Reading know which river I'm talking about, the Caversham River. Yes. So I would just go there and sit alone, look at the water, look at the birds and the ducks and whatever, and just feel very calm. And I think every time I feel really overwhelmed, that's usually the place I go. I don't need to tell anybody where I'm going. I just say, I'm going, I'll be back in a bit. I'll just go there and just find myself. Yeah.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, let's give us a round of applause to Lucy Connor! Yeah! She is the author of The Journey Within. She has been very confident in making sure she writes about things that we as a community don't speak about. She has also made sure that she has done her research, that The Journey Within, which is her book, as an author, has got content enough for everybody. So what am I saying here? That as much as we were calling her Lucy before, now we're going to be calling her Lucy the author. And as we speak to Lucy the author, her journey is not very unique. It's her journey of writing the book that is unique. Because most of us feel all the things she has been feeling, but we don't talk about it, we don't write about it. Lucy, tell us about your writing. Mm-hmm. How did you start writing? How did you finish writing? A little bit about tactics, because in the house today, we could have somebody who will be inspired by your journey and want to be an author like you. What was the journey like to have the book produced today?
Okay. First of all, I've always been a reader. One of my favorite hobbies is reading. I like to read a lot, and I like to write a lot as well. I usually write on Medium Daily Digest almost every day, just little articles here and there, but I never took it seriously. So for me, it didn't come as something I hadn't done before, because I like writing. So it was more of trying to put what I think I can do and just making it correlate, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does, yes. And making it correlate. And the publishing journey?
The publishing journey was trickier than I expected it to be. I didn't expect it to cost as much as it did, and finding a good publisher, when I was ringing around, I think round about August time, I was done with the book, but I was looking for a publisher. And every time I rang around, the amounts they were giving me, they were like, oh, no, you won't get it till next year or whatever. So it was quite tricky to find a reputable publisher. But luckily, I came across Maple publishers who have published this book. And they've been very, very good with me, to be quite honest, because it was a very costly affair, and they were happy to work with me. When I could afford a certain amount, I would put it, and then they would say, we've published up to here and whatever. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And yes, we've got the book out now. Who are your target audience?
My target.
Who are the readers you are expecting to read the book?
I'm expecting anybody over the age of 35, because scientifically that's when some might start getting these symptoms and whatever. I'm expecting our husbands and our partners and everybody to have a read. It's very important to know that you've got the support of your partner, let alone anyone else, because things do change. It's very important that they know what has changed and how they can support you very well, like emotionally, and just being there and understanding what exactly you're going through.
So now directly speaking to your people out there, because the camera is looking at you, directly speak to the people. Talk to them 1 minute about The Journey Within. This camera.
All right, okay, wrong one. The Journey Within is my story and I've incorporated other women's stories in it. It's got some self-help tips for yourself and your friends and whatever. There is I've touched on herbs you can use which might help, and I've also touched on the HRT, the hormone replacement therapy.
Fantastic. The hormone replacement therapy we've had, there's an issue with hormones. Lucy, stay there because we have an audience here. And I would like to hear from the audience. What do they know about perimenopause? And what is it you have heard about perimenopause? Are you a woman going through it? Is there a word that comes into your mind? Yes.
A few minutes ago, I think I've got a flash. Oh, have you? I think it's just kind of, I'm not sure, but it's like women when you go in those periods, like a pubic periods, but this is different, where you're changing your bodies, get change, start stopping having a period, so things like that. Sorry.
No, you don't be sorry, because you've mentioned something about having periods that get to a place where that get affected. Don't get so scared. Don't get so scared. Young woman like you has not gone through perimenopause, but what do you think young people need to look into when thinking about perimenopause?
Whoa. So let me tell you, there is something. I actually spoke to Lucy because I'm that woman who calls herself God's favorite, because I do not know what cramps is. I do not know what is period pain. So I was saying to Lucy, does it mean maybe when I come to perimenopause, this is where I pay back all my happy life? And she took some time. To be honest, I was also clueless, and I haven't experienced anything yet. But if forgetting is one of them, maybe I'm in, because I've been forgetting a few things here and there. You know, like putting sugar in there.
It definitely is, Nancy.
So, but yeah, to the young people, I think what will teach us is that, what will teach them? I'm not young, but I'm behind Lucy. I'm coming. But what I would say is that the insight I had with Lucy, just having a conversation with her for 30 minutes, can you imagine what the book will do? So you don't even have to be 35 to read it. I think we need to read it earlier so that we are aware of what to expect.
Thank you very much. You've had that. The brain fog already. The brain fog, feeling the brain fog. Now, it's good to hear from a boy child, because when we talk about perimenopause, normally we think about us, the women, going through it. But what you're going through, your partner is also going through it. So what do men think about perimenopause?
First of all, Lucy, thank you, my sister, for the perspective that you have actually brought in perimenopause, because personally working in the medical field and in contraception, many women come in and they are coming from a contraception perspective to ask themselves, am I still fertile or am I not? So many a times, we actually do the hormonal profile to try and get a perspective whether or not do we still need to give them contraception or not. But the perspective that you have actually brought has brought home to me as well to start thinking, what are the effects of this woman? What is she going through? What is the mental perspective should I be thinking of when we are doing counseling? To the children as well, because maybe the woman may snap towards the children. So it's not only about the men, it's also about the children. How does it affect them? And at that particular point, that's where, as a man, we have to talk to our children for them to be able to understand that, you know what, mommy, whatever mommy is going through, it's okay. And for us as men to be in that position so that we can be able to assist them. So believe it or not, you have brought a different perspective also professionally that as a man I never thought of. And I think it will be an eye-opener when these things happen within my own family. but at the same time, the most important thing for me, I always talk about the young people. And the young people, it's quite important for them to have the support that they actually need and the openness that you have actually had within our community, whereby we don't speak about these things. It is an opportunity for us to open our minds. And whatever you are actually doing is not about UK only. It's about possibly one time looking at maybe going to Kenya as well, and Africa, for you to be able to go and share your experiences so that you can be able to have support and to help others. This is very, very important, because apart from being here, we come from somewhere. So please, all of us, we can be able to support Lucy on the other journey in Africa. And I'm sure it can be done.
Oh, thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. And you've heard, it's not just about us, the women, it's also the men, and they want to talk about it. And of course, we have talked about peri-menopause. We're getting there, we're getting there. We got Shosho over here. One word, Shosho. You finished all this, but as you understand what we're saying. Just one word to Lucy about the book she's brought up.
Let me talk in Swahili so everyone can hear what I'm talking. Bwana asifiwe. Yangu ni kushukuru Mungu kwa wema wake, kwa vile amefunulia msichana wangu hadi ya kutoa hiyo kitabu iwe ikisaidia watu. Kama watu kama sisi tungejua namna hiyo ama tuwe na hiyo kitu, ni vizuri sana. Hiyo ni kitu ya kukumbukwa, na watoto wajukuu wote watakuwa wakimkumbuka kwa hii kitabu. Kwa hivyo Mungu akusaidie na hiyo kitabu isaidie watu wengi, generation by generation iwasaidie. Mungu azidi kuwabariki sana. Na hata asante sana kwa mimi.
Wow, who knew Grandma will have such a good message? Anybody else who feel like, because I want to go back to Lucy and finish this session. I don't want to talk to the young people unless they want to talk to me, because that's the only thing I do with the young people. Unless there's one person who has something to say about peri-menopause. Because right now, Lucy, she's got her fan out. Give it up to her. She is already peri-menopause.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. One of our Lucy's are going through peri-menopause. We carry our fans. Tell us about what you're going through.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I'm feeling so hot. Anyway, because of the fans, but it's because of pre-menopause. Well, mine is actually menopause already, so yeah. The one thing I can talk about the pre-menopause is feeling like you don't want to talk to anyone. You don't want to see anybody. You don't want to be anywhere, anybody. And that really affects people with relationships with your friends and your family members, people you used to talk to often, or people where you used to go maybe for functions and you don't want to see anyone. So people tend to think, oh God, she doesn't want to see anyone. She doesn't want to talk to anyone anymore. Please understand, it's just one of those things that you just feel like, oh God, I can't leave the house. I just want to stay at home. So that's my experience. Wow. So be mindful with us a little bit.
Be mindful.
You got me.
Hello, everyone. Every now and again, someone writes something that talks to you as a person. Someone touches on a subject that addresses you as a person. And for me, this is this book. When Lucy said to us about writing the book, I was thinking, she's starting to talk to me. She's starting to talk to my friends because the conversations are coming through. So I wanted to say thank you so much, Lucy, for offering us this opportunity to talk about this experience that no one talks about. And some of it perhaps come from our backgrounds. We don't talk about these things. Our parents don't talk to us about these things. They talk to us about when you have your period, but that's because they're warning you about becoming pregnant when you're still in high school. It's not so much about this is what happens to your body as you go through the journey of life as a woman. So for the youngsters in this room, please come and talk to us when that time comes. For those who are my age, who are going through the peri-menopause, let's talk about it. And also remember, nowadays, in employment law, you can call in sick. You can seek advice from your employer. You can talk to your employer about menopause and peri-menopause, and they have to give you time off because you're going through these changes. Don't shy off. Go and tell them about it. Name it. Call it. Don't suffer in silence. Let them know that you are off work because you are going through something. It's called peri-menopause. Use it.
Wow, give it up again.
Got me.
And as it comes, the last person to speak for us today.
Yeah, hello. Lucy. Mwah. Mwah. So I represent the group of 1 minute. You don't know whether you are young, old. You know, I'm just there. I think for me, this is a big one, Lucy. I mean, talking about this, as we are saying, it's a topic that we don't tend to talk about in our community. And thank you for doing it. My message to those who are genuinely young, I left Kenya when I was 26. And 20 years later, I'm here. So I'm still trying to think whether I'm peri-menopausal or I'm pretending I'm not. But if you really, for the young people, if you really want to have children, have them early. Because I represent those who are at the age of, I keep thinking I'm turning 46 this year, but I'm actually turning 47. And sometimes I don't know whether I'm sad about not having children or it's still a topic that I ignore. So if you want to have children, do it early. It comes from a place of love. Long live women.
Thank you, Belinda.
Wow.
You got me.
I would not have thought that's an area we're going to talk about, that when you get to perimenopause, you're not going to be having babies anymore because you're apart, unless something happens because you're not getting your eggs anymore. So let's go back to Lucy. We're finishing this bit. I'm going to ask if you're 45 and above, the DJ will give us a song so as we can dance with our Lucy. Give it up again for Lucy Konda. Now we have Bishop Margaret asking a question.
Lucy, I have 2 questions for you. Short and clear, yeah? Because this door has opened up, given an opportunity, would you write another book?
Most definitely, yes.
The second one is, this book will open a door for public speaking. Are you ready?
If I'm very honest, this is not my thing. Yeah, speaking in front of people is never easy for me.
You are speaking right now, and this is an audience already established. So there's no difference without a public speaking out there and what you have already entered in. You are in the swimming pool already. You are naked, and you won't drown.
Thank you.
Lucy, you have to swim. The moment you write a book, be ready to talk about the book. You'll be called many places because, like we said, it's not a topic people are talking about. So you're standing unique in the United Kingdom as an author of the Journey Within. The next question.
Congratulations, Lucy, on the book.
Thank you.
What would you say has been the hardest going through this journey of perimenopause into menopause? And what has been the hardest writing the book?
What was hardest for me in terms of the symptoms first was the brain fog. I got to a point where I couldn't remember. I would go to the fridge to get something, and I would literally forget what I went in for. Then I would be battling with myself, thinking, what did I want to get? But it didn't stop there. It got worse. I think she's here. Where is Shai? I've seen her somewhere. One of my work colleagues. There was a time we were at work. We drove out. And when you use your contactless card, you just pay using contactless. And I think I must have done it so many times that day, I couldn't remember my PIN. And I'd already fueled the car, and I just couldn't remember my PIN. I tried and tried 3 times, the card got blocked. I rang Ndongo asking him what my PIN number is. He was like, "What are you talking about? How would you not know your PIN number?" Anyway, I think Shai ended up paying for the fuel. My colleague Shai ended up paying for the fuel. And then I reimbursed her the money. And also very scary, one day when I was at work again, driving on a hot sunny day. We were 4 staff and 1 young person. And we went out for I think we took the young person for a drive somewhere. Then we came on our way back home. I think everybody fell asleep. I was a driver, and everybody else fell asleep. And it was so scary to me, thinking that I did get close for nearly 20, 30 minutes. 2 minutes away, I could see everything. I know, I could see that is McDonald's, that is Shell, that is wherever, all the landmarks, but I just could not find the turn to go to get back to work. So eventually, the young person got up and she asked me, "Where are you taking us, Lucy?" I said, "We are going back to work." And she was like, "No, you're going the opposite way." And I couldn't help but cry. It was so heartbreaking for me because I couldn't imagine losing my memory completely. And that was the scariest part of everything. And more so, that is really what triggered me to write about my experience, because it was so scary that I can be driving in a very obvious location where I know everything around, and all of a sudden, my brain shuts. I can't remember. So that was really what.
Well, I've gone through that brain shot, and it's actually very scary.
See? So how long ago was that?
Maybe 2 years ago, because peri-menopause has a long window. It's not like you just go through peri-menopause and get to menopause. I'm still peri-menopause, or I haven't got to menopause yet, because I think we tend to confuse the two. There is a difference between being peri-menopausal and getting into menopause. Obviously, when you are peri-menopausing, you're getting to the end of the reproductive years. So, meaning that you can probably no longer have children and things like that, hence the symptoms. Then menopause is where you... Come on.
So... Okay, so if that was 2 years ago, is it back now? Are you able to remember things, or are you still struggling 2 years on?
I wouldn't say I'm struggling per se. These symptoms come off and on. I think 95% of the symptoms are under control because I take my herbs. Please.
Wow, thank you very much. It's important for us to talk about that window of perimenopause, because like I said, for me I was very young, I think it was 46. My friend's birthday, I was hosting, and all of a sudden I'm holding a microphone and I'm frozen. I can't remember what I wanted to say and why I wanted to say it. And believe me, it was such, one of my friends asked me, "Janet, are you okay?" I'm not even sure Ken picked it up. Maybe it's in the camera somewhere. But it has happened to me. So each one of us women who are 45 plus can remember a place whereby something happened you can't explain. So thank you very much. Let's hear another question.
Congratulations to my sister Lucy for writing the book.
Thank you.
You've done very well. I hope you carry on writing. And she said, you're going to be known as Lucy the author.
Oh,
you are such an inspiration to all of us to write our own books. My question is this, the thought process of writing a book. A lot of people, they can't do it. So how did you manage to push yourself? And another thing, how do you know whatever you are writing, people will be interested? Because people think if I write this, nobody's going to want to read it. How do you push yourself to know that someone is going to read what I'm writing? I don't know.
I think through my journey, I've got a journal on my phone where I record most of my symptoms, how I'm feeling on a regular basis. And I think I've got a childhood friend back home who we openly spoke on a Saturday. More or less every Saturday, I would ring her and she'll be telling me she's feeling this way, that way, and we'll be sharing how I'm feeling and how she's feeling and things like that. So for me, it took me to go through all the things I've written in my journal, and then I began now piecing them together. And I'm doing a lot of research on what perimenopause was. So as I kept reading and reading and reading, I was coming across some scientific information and other testimonials from others who have gone through the journey.
Thank you very much. I hope that has been answered. And when I'm actually talking to young people myself, I say, don't just be a consumer. Find a way to produce something. It doesn't matter whether 3 people like your story. It doesn't matter whether millions of people like your story. The fact that you shared, that was growth for you. So this is growth for you, Lucy, and well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'm loving the fact that our men are engaging with these. So let's hear another question.
Ladies and gentlemen, mine is not a question, it's a compliment. Lucy, we've known you for a long time, yes? And when you came up with the book, I thought, this is it. Because I haven't read anybody else's book about the same subject, menopause. Now, I'll tell you some here. I'm 60 plus. And I know there are a few of us here who are 60 plus. And you better believe it. Men, don't deny it. Some of us, like me, we've been on the receiving end of menopause. What I'm trying to say is, whatever is going on in her, that's my wife right here, and it kind of reflects to you the moods, the everything. You are the one who is going to receive everything. You better believe it. So I know about it. You can't tell me none. Because what happens is she'll be in a mood, different moods in the morning, in the evening. So those are things you have to be ready for. And as a man, cool it. Just check out. If you love that woman and you said yes, properly in the church, just let it go. Learn how to handle it. So now, I am so grateful to you, Lucy, honestly, because at least somebody has come up with this thing to educate these girls. By the time they get to our age, they will be knowing what really happens. And I'm so grateful because I've been there and I know.
Thank you.
I have children, I have grandchildren, and I know it's going to happen. So I think that's going to be our problem to educate them. But thank you so much. I really appreciate this moment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Oh, that one requires a louder applause. He has spoken for a lot of us women because we gave them our youth. We gave them the best parts of our life. So when we are going through perimenopause and menopause, we need our men to understand us and stand with us. Not go looking for someone else. I'm hoping there's no questions. Are there any more questions? one more question. Thank you very much.
Oh, congratulations, Sister Lucy, for this wonderful, wonderful thing that you have done. You have made us proud. So proud of you.
Thank you.
I want to ask, when I've heard that when it starts, it's between 30-something going on, but until when? I'm just saying it because I am above 60, going to 70.
You look very good.
Maybe a few years, I'll be 70. But by the grace of God. Amen. Now, when that said stop, because I might be going through it, or I might still be waiting to keep going, because sometimes it can be maybe this month you are just okay, and maybe another month you must be very hot, very moody, because that's where we are. Because I remember when I was there, I was so moody, and everything was wrong. Everybody on my way was doing the wrong thing. Everybody. I feel sorry for people who are surrounding me. I was really bad. I don't know whether other people go through the same. Unless you deny it, we go through that mood changes. Sometimes you feel like, so when that said stop, maybe I'm still going on, or I'm still waiting to continue, or I don't know.
To be quite honest, I really don't think there is a clear-cut time for when it stops. Some people can have it for like 15 years. Others can have it for 2 years. Others can have it for 1 year or whatever. It's a perimenopause. So I'm not sure there is a clear-cut age when things stop. But I think moving on to menopause, I haven't done a lot of research on menopause. I've mainly just touched on perimenopause because that's my area at the moment. So I'm not sure what symptoms you get. Do you still get the flashes even after? Because we have to distinguish between perimenopause and menopause. I think perimenopause, it's when you're still having your whatever monthly periods, until they stop completely for 12 months. That's when you can actually say you've gone into menopause, but it's not my case at the moment. So I haven't done any research on menopause just yet, because that's probably something else to write about when I get to it. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, and you've been amazing, audience. You've been amazing, audience. The Journey Within is going to be launched today. The Confidence of a Woman is in that book. The Challenges of a Woman is in that book. The effects of perimenopause on a woman is in that book. But more so is self-care for the woman, and to do herbs, the herbs that you need to take is in that book. So today, as we launch the book, make sure you get a copy for yourself, get a copy for your partner, get a copy for your friend, because even for the young people who are there in here tonight, they know somebody who could be going through perimenopause or who is just about to get there. I'm so honored to be part and parcel of your big journey of launching the Journey Within.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Reading, I think Ken is very happy. He's saying we will be back for more community talks. Situongezi ni ukweli. Let's keep talking to each other. And now back to Maggie.